Okay, good morning everyone, and Hazak Baruch. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Tuesday morning as we are studying this week together a new Perashat Behukotay. Perashat Behukotay. Today's class is sponsored anonymously for the Refuah Shlema of all of Am Yisrael. Today's class is also dedicated for a Refuah Shlema of a very dear friend of mine, Mordechai Ben Yafa Marco, who unfortunately was in a car accident on Friday. But Baruch Hashem, he's alive, and it's a miracle of miracles that he is. I spoke to him yesterday, and just to hear the story and how he's still able to talk, and his head is there, and everything is there. Just, needed some surgery, but Be'ezrat Hashem, everything should be okay with God's help. So really a miracle, and happy to hear that he's okay, but he needs a refuah shlema in our prayers. So please have in mind Mordechai Ben Yafa, and today's class will be dedicated by me on his behalf for his complete, full recovery, healing for him, for his sanity, physically, mentally, and also for, of course, his spouse and all those that know him very closely that are affected and traumatized by this. They should all have a complete refuat nefesh, urfuat guf. Amen. My friends, these classes that we record every single morning, that you enjoy, whether you're listening live or you listen afterwards to the recording, Baruch Hashem, we have a gift called the internet, that we're able to take these classes and push them throughout the world. People all over are listening, not just to my class, many classes, thank God, on different platforms. And, obviously we know the danger and the harm of internet and how much bad could be done, and unfortunately how much bad is being pushed through the internet, through different platforms. Platforms like TikTok. Most kids today, they get their news from TikTok, which is all, funded by people with an agenda, and what they're promoting, what they're pushing is just false. It's lies, it's sheker, and kids don't know to filter, to differentiate. They just listen, and they think it's real. It must be real. Listen, it's on social media. Of course it's real. But they don't know that this is all paid for and sponsored by pure, wicked people that are trying to destroy and corrupt the world and society. And it's, we have to be very careful about the harms of the internet. But at the same time, the internet also pushes tremendous good things. So much Torah is being learned every single day. And one of the platforms of Torah where it's being learned is TorahAnytime.com. And maybe you've heard of it. I'm sure you have. Maybe you're watching this on that website right now as you're listening to this. The work that the Kol Yaakov brothers have done is just tremendous. What a real Kiddush Hashem, a miracle. Something that so many people get to sit down and learn and study. Wherever they are in the world. Like the Pasuk says, U'blechtecha baderech. Wherever you're walking, listen to Torah. And they've made this available for free. No cost, no charge. You just go on the website, www, and then you pick any speaker you like, any topic you like. Thousands and thousands and thousands, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of shiurim already that are on this website. All different types of speakers, all different flavors, all different styles, and the millions of hours of Torah that are being learned every single year is just amazing. And it's such a zechut for these great people that started this website. But Rabotai, this organization, it costs money. This website to run, to make sure it's running smoothly, it costs money. And they're having their once a year campaign, once a year. And I'm a beneficiary of this website. I get to post my Torah on it, and people all over the world get to listen. So I took it upon myself to raise, to have on my page, to raise $10,000. And I'm asking you for help. If you enjoy these classes, if you're listening, so please help me reach the goal of $10,000. If you would like to donate, I posted a link on the page, on the Perashat class page. You could also find the link on the Torah Anytime website. If you could do it through my page, I would appreciate that as well. Of course, none of this money goes to me. It's all going to the website. It's all going to help them continue to just run. No one's trying to make money. They're just trying to run the website so that we can learn, so that we can grow. So please help me, and I appreciate it very much. Hazak Baruch. And may we always be able to learn and grow with health, with tranquility, with peace of mind. Amen. Okay, my friends, Perashat Behukotay. Perashat Behukotay, Ora Hayim over here, my friends, he goes and he is, my friends, really showing us his knowledge, his breadth of Torah. What he does over here in the beginning of our Perashah, I'm just going to tell you what he does, is he is going to give no less than 42 interpretations on one word. That is what the Ora Hayim is going to do. In the beginning, opening pasuk of our Perashah. Now don't worry, I'm not going to give you all 42 today. Okay? We have to leave. We know we only have limited time. But my friends, it's worth opening, reading for yourselves. What the Ora Hayim does in this week's Perashah is just beautiful, and he really is flexing a little bit, showing us how much he knows and how he's able to take all of his knowledge, and he knew it all. And he take it and put it into tiny pasuk, where he's showing you how the Torah is so malleable and it's so flexible, and he could take any pasuk and it's teaching you that way, and it's teaching you this, and it's teaching you that. So the pasuk is opening pasuk of our Perashat Behukotay. Hok means my decree. The pasuk says, Im Behukotay telechu ve'et mitzvotay tishmeru. Now usually I would turn the page and I'll read to you the ending of the pasuk, because as you can see, it says just a very short pasuk on the top, and then the next page has the second half of the pasuk. The problem is that to go to the end of the pasuk, it would take me 42 pages to turn just to get there. So instead, let's open up the pasuk. It's a chapter 26. Okay, chapter 26. It's the last parasha of the book of Vayikra, the last parasha. Im behukotay telechu, if you will walk in my decrees. Ve'et mitzvotay tishmeru, and you will keep my commandments. Va'asitem otam, and you will do them. Then, if all of that, v'natati gishmechem beitam, I will give you rain, and the land and the earth will produce, and you'll have blessing. So the parasha begins with a beautiful promise, a promise that if the Jews follow the Torah, follow the commandments, they will receive all the bracha, all the blessings from above. The Ora Hayim asks a few questions, but he wants to know what does it mean, Im behukotay telechu? What does that mean, if you will walk in my decrees? Isn't that already the same as ve'et mitzvotay tishmeru, doing my commandments? What is it adding? What is the difference between walking in my decrees and keeping my commandments? He quotes our rabbis. Our rabbis say in Torat Kohanim, Lihiyot amelim baTorah. What it means, Im behukotay telechu, is not doing mitzvot. It doesn't mean if you will keep my decrees in the sense that you will do the commandments. That's the next words. It means that you have to learn Torah, my friends. There is mitzvah to learn. V'tam shekara katuv amala Torah huka. And why is learning called, why did the Torah express the mitzvah of learning with the word hok? Hok we know means a decree. The word hok usually means something that's just chukah. He says, letzad sheyesh ba mitzvah afilu lilmod dvarim shel adam pa'amayim v'shalosh. It's called a hok because you have to learn even if you learned it already. Even if you know it already. Even if I know this one. Doesn't matter. You have to learn. Chok. You got to do it. There's a decree. There's a quota. There's a mitzvah to learn no matter what. And that's why it's called a chok. It's very interesting. The mitzvah of learning, my friends, is not to acquire knowledge. Because if you know it, you may say, okay, I know it. No, the mitzvah is, even if you know it, you got to learn. Hacham Ovadia Yosef, he would open the books every single day of his life, and he knew it all. I promise you, whatever was capable for a person to know. Every written book under the sun about Torah, he knew it, he had it, he studied it, he memorized it. They tested him, he knew it all. And every single day he woke up and he learned. And he learned and he learned and he learned. So this is a chok. You have to learn. Ki hafetz Hashem be'ezek Torah. Hashem wants his children to be engaged in Torah study at all times, regardless of knowledge. Hukah hakak. And therefore it's a decree that he has ordained. Even if it does not serve the obvious advantage, the obvious purpose of knowledge. And therefore our rabbis also say over here, look at this one, כי לטעם שילמוד האדם תורה בחשק תמיד. In order to ensure that a person always learns. What did God do? גזרה חוכמתו יתברך שיהיה אדם לומד ושוכח. God decreed forgetfulness. Why do we forget, Rabbi? It's so annoying. I learned it, I forgot it. Imagine I could remember, retain everything I learned. I learned Masechet Berachot once and know it, and then move on to the next. Why can't we remember? You know, the Or HaHaim says, you know why? Because if you remembered it all, then when you're done, you would never study again. So Hashem had to make us forget so that we keep going and going and going. Im Behukotay telechu. Beautiful. So that's why it's called a hook. Learning is a hook. Okay, so why does it say Hukotai, plural? How many learnings? It says Chukati. There's one Torah. What is Chukotai? Yirmoz l'shtei Torot. No, there are two Torot. Torah shebechtav and Torah shebe'al peh. The written and the oral. And we know, we spoke about this many, many times, that the oral is there to support and to explain the written. However, it's written Behukotai without a vav. It's written Behukati. If we read it without nekudot, without the vowels, it's actually written singular. Torah shebe'al peh kelula b'Torah shebechtav. And the reason is because even the oral, which is the second Torah, is included in the written. The structure is found in the written. All of the teachings of the oral are alluded to in the written Torah. And therefore, we explain Im Behukotai telechu. Od Ramaz. Furthermore, why does it say Hukotai in plural? Because you have to learn 2 times a day. You have to learn in the morning and you have to learn at night. V'hakita bo yomam v'layla, the pasuk says in Joshua, in Yehoshua. A person's got to learn morning and night, every single day, 2 times. Just like you have breakfast and dinner. Some people have lunch, some people have brunch, some people have supper. But at least you eat twice a day. You gotta learn twice a day. Im Behukotai, plural. But it's written singular. These 2 periods are to take place in a single calendar day. You shouldn't learn Torah randomly, sometimes by day, sometimes by night. No. You got to learn day and night, and that's why they're in the same day. That's why it's written singular. Also, why is it written plural? Behukotai, plural. Because there's 2 things when it comes to learning. There's lilmod, there's learning. And then there's lelamed, you got to teach it. It's not enough, my friends, in Torah and life. It's not enough to learn. To learn only is selfish. You got to learn and you got to teach. There's a fantastic Mishnah in Pirkei Avot. And the Mishnah says, and this Mishnah is very cryptic. It's written in Aramaic. It's Mishnah in the first chapter of Pirkei Avot. The author is Hillel. Mishnah 13 in the book that I'm using. Hu haya omer, he used to say, Negad shema avad shemeh. If a person chases honor, then he loses honor. Amazing advice. In life, people that are always kissing up, nobody likes them. The best way to lose respect from people is by trying to always seek respect from people. And people could tell when there's a person who's a kiss up. Negad shemeh avad shemeh. Looking for honor is losing your honor. Udla mosif yasif. And if you don't mosif, if you don't grow in life, yasif, you're going to end up getting destroyed, cut off. Udla yalif ketala hayav. So you always got to grow. But udela yalif. But if you don't teach, ketala hayav, you're deserving of death. It's not enough to learn and grow. We have to also give. We cannot just remain righteous. We cannot just remain tzaddikim, learned. What are you doing to teach other people? This is our obligation, to be able to give Torah. The pasuk says, "V'torah hesed al leshona." You need to have a Torah of kindness. What does that mean, a Torah of kindness? Is there such a thing as a Torah that's not kindness? And the answer is yes. A Torah that's for you and you alone, that you learn selfishly. And you sit all day on a mountain and you just learn and you never help anyone else up that mountain. That's a selfish Torah. A Torah has got to be Torah chesed al leshona. We have to learn with the interest, with the purpose of now helping other people. What can I do? How can I help? How can I serve Who can I teach? I know it's going to come at a cost. It's going to cost my time to teach. I want to rather learn. I learn more. I got to stop now my learning to teach somebody else. It's going to cost time. It's okay. L'lmod u'lamed, that's the goal of life. You got to give. Someone once taught you. I'm sure he could have learned too, but he decided to teach you. You got to pay it forward. Torat chesed. Now you got to teach somebody else. And Moshe Feinstein says you got to give 10% of not only your money, but also your time. So you got to ask yourself, are we learning? And then 2, are we teaching? And everyone could teach. Maybe you're not the biggest rabbi, but you could teach. And there's someone in your orbit, there's someone in your world that you are considered a rabbi too. And you got to teach them. Maybe forward them the class. Maybe take them to a class. But this is called Torat Chesed. And all of life has to be done with the purpose of other people in mind. So as an example, when we have in the Amidah every morning, we have a blessing. Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak, Elokei Yaakov. The first blessing of the Amidah. And the blessing ends with the words Behukotay Hashem Magen Avraham. So in the beginning of the blessing, in the text, in the body, it urges us to tap into the greatness of Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. And we ask God to help us. And we praise God as the God of Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. But then we only praise Him as the God of Abraham. We only end off with Magen Avraham. Why don't we end off with the shield of Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov? All 3 of them. The same way the body has 3, the ending should also have 3. But no, we only end off with Avraham. And I saw one time a beautiful pshat. Rabbi Norman Lamb, he says as follows: we know Avraham represents chesed. Yitzchak represents avodah, praying. Yaakov represents ishtam yoshev ohalim, learning. Yaakov is the learner. And each one is another pillar. Rabbi Shimon HaTzadik in Pirkei Avot says, Al shelosha devarim ha'olam omed. The world stands on 3 things. Money. No, I'm kidding. The world stands on 3 things. Ala Torah, ala avodah, ve'al gimlut chasadim. Right? You need Torah. Torah is learning. Mitzvot, Torah. Avodah is praying, serving God. And gemilut chasadim is kindness. And these are the 3 relationships that we have in our lives. 3 relationships are me and my friend, that's chesed. Me and God, that's praying. And then me and myself, that's learning. And all 3 are important. And each one of the avot embodied one of these lanes, they each perfected a different service. And it's okay to focus in life on one. Obviously, you need to have all 3. But you could be better in one than the other. Some people are better in praying. That's very good. Nothing's wrong with that. As long as it's not at the price of chesed. It can't be that you only pray. You need to also have chesed. Some people love chesed, and that's very good. You should keep doing it. But it shouldn't be an excuse to never pray or to never learn because I'm doing chesed. You need to have all 3, and then you could be hyper-focused on one. And Avraham was chesed, and Yitzchak was praying, and Yaakov was learning. But what's very interesting is that we end off with Magen Avraham, as if to say that the trait of Avraham, the midah of chesed, in a way, is maybe what? Preferred? Hard to say. What is it? What is the Torah? What is the rabbis trying to indicate by ending the blessing with Avraham, with chesed? Can't tell me it's more important. No, because you need all 3. By ending with Avraham, what our rabbis are telling us is that no matter which area of life we're in, we must always be infused, sprinkled with Avraham, with chesed. Even if you're in the other lane, but do it with chesed, do it with kindness. You're learning Torah, that's your lane, beautiful. But there's got to be Torah of chesed. There's got to be sprinkling of kindness when you learn. Like we said, you got to learn and teach other people. And even if you're praying, and that's your lane, that's also nice. But make sure you're praying for other people. And that, by the way, that's why in a shul, you're not allowed to have mirrors. And you're actually supposed to have windows. The difference between a mirror and a window is a mirror you only see yourself. And in a window you see other people. Because when we pray, we need to pray for other people. We cannot pray for ourselves. A lot of times we get to a blessing in the Amidah and we're like, oh yeah, I know, I have this one, I'm good. I have Parnasa, I'm fine. We rush the blessing. I have refu'ah, I don't need refu'ah, I'm good. And we rush the blessing. But that's not a praying of kindness. We have to sprinkle Avraham, kindness, even when we pray, even if we're within the midah of Yitzchak. And then, of course, even when we're in the lane of chesed, finally, even chesed needs chesed. Even when we're doing kindness, you have to also do it with kindness. A lot of times we help, a lot of times we provide, a lot of times we give, but it's done with such sourness, such bitterness, such negativity. That's not chesed with chesed. That's chesed, but that's not done the right way. And so even the chesed that we do, my friends, needs to be sprinkled with love, with attention. And so that's what the Or HaHayim says. In Behukotay telechu. If you're walking, you need to do it. You need to walk. Behukotay. When you're learning, you gotta learn, but you gotta double. Behukotay plural. You gotta learn and then you gotta teach it. Behukotay. Beautiful. And there's many commandments. V'limatem otam et benechem, v'shinantam bebanecha. Beautiful. And now the Or HaHayim, after having established that the word Behukotay refers to toiling in Torah, and having explained why it's referred to as a decree, and why it's written in plural, now the Or HaHayim will fit this in with the rest of the pasuk. And like we said, he gives 42, my friends, no less than 42 interpretations of one pasuk. And here we go. We're going to give just today a few. V'ta'am omro leshon halicha. Why is the Torah called learning by walking? In Behukotay telechu. If it's referring to the Torah, it's nice, but why does it say walking? Why do you have to walk in the Torah? What does it mean to walk in the Torah? Lomar shetzarich la'asok b'Torah afilu ba'alichato. Lesson number 1, my friends, that the Torah, the Behukotay, the learning's got to be done even belechtecha, even when you're going, even where we walk, even baderech, like the pasuk says, ublechtecha baderech. A person should never learn only when they're at home. When I'm in shul, when I'm in my zone, when I'm in my comfort zone, when I'm in my with my rabbis. But when I go away, I don't learn. No such thing. A person always has to learn, even when they're on the road. Behukotay telechu. Even where you're walking. And Baruch Hashem, like we said, today there's so many apps, there's so many websites, that wherever you are on the road, belechtecha baderech, you could plug in your AirPods. You can listen to the Torah class, wherever you are. And I'll look at this, Baruch Hashem, I'm looking on the Zoom now. There's people on the train. There's people walking in the street. There's a guy in the park. Person's in the gym. Different people listening at different times. And it's a beautiful thing, wherever we are in the world, to be able to walk and to learn. Behukotay telechu, wherever we go. A person's got to take Torah with them. Torah doesn't stay in one place. Torah is not written for one location. That's why the Torah was given in the desert. What kind of place is that? Give the Torah in a place that's significant. Give it in a city, in a metropolis. God took us to the desert. And by the way, we don't even know where Har Sinai is today. We only could guess. People think they found it. We found rocks that have images. Maybe. But we don't know. You know why? Because Torah is everywhere. Torah is not limited to one place, to one location. Torah is always anywhere and everywhere you go. Right? Dwayne Reed. Okay, fine. Anywhere you go. This is the power of Torah. Behukotay telechu. So we have to learn even when we're walking. Okay, that's number one. Number two. Od yirtzeh al derech ma she'amru. Another explanation is based on what King David writes in Tehillim. Hishafti derachai. David HaMelech in Psalm 119, Kuf Yutet, which is famous for being the longest one. 119 is the one that has 8 psukim of every letter of the alphabet. So there's 8 alifs and then 8 bets and 8 gimels. If you're ever splitting Tehillim, don't get duped into doing 119. It's the longest one, and you maybe didn't realize it, and you thought you were being a hero, and you took 5 chapters, so you took really 116, right? Whatever it is, chapters. Okay, so it's a beautiful chapter, 119. Interestingly, there's 176 psukim in that chapter. 176, because 8 times, if my math is correct, 22. Okay, someone fact check that. 8 times 22 is 176. So the longest chapter in Tehillim has 176 psukim. And it's very interesting because the longest parasha in the Torah, which is going to be in a couple of weeks from now, Parashat Naso, take a guess how many psukim? 130, no I'm kidding, very good, 176. And the longest page in Shas, the longest Masechet in Shas, Baba Batra, has 176. So really a lot of good stuff going on. And let's come back to the Pasuk. The Pasuk says in Tehillim chapter 119, Hishafti derachai. King David writes, I consider my ways, but I return my feet to your testimonies. Look at this beautiful Pasuk. Opening up the Tehillim over here. Again, open up to 119, Kuf Yutet, letter Hit. You see it's Vav, Zayin, Chet. So the Pasuk says, Hishafti derachai, va'ashiva raglai, el edotecha. David HaMelech says, I thought of where to go, but at the end, my feet took me to the Beit Midrash. Every morning, David HaMelech would wake up, he would start walking, and all of a sudden he finds himself in shul. He'd want to go to the supermarket, all of a sudden he sees himself in the study hall. How did I get here? His feet took him. Hashti derachai. Shaya David choshev la'asot inyanin. He would plan his day. He was a king. He was an important person. It's not like he only had golf to do. David HaMelech had an important day. He had chores. And somehow, instead of going where he wanted, Raglav molichim oto me'atzmam bebeit HaMidrash, his feet would take him on their own to the study hall. Le'rov ha'hefet ve'haratzon ve'haregilud badavar. Because of his intense interest and desire, and he was so accustomed to the matter of going to the study hall. And that's what the Pasuk says in Behukotay telechu. An ideal state of mind, which every Jew should strive for, my friends, is that Behukotay telechu. You will walk in my decrees. What that means is Halichatchem me'atzma tihiyeh ahareha kema'amar David. Your walking should automatically take you to the Torah, just like David HaMelech was able to testify about himself, Lerov ha'hishek v'haregilut, because he built up so much desire, because he was so accustomed to studying. So Behukotay telechu. My Torah is where you should automatically want to go. Just like David HaMelech would wake up. You know, there's something called in psychology muscle memory. Muscle memory means you do something so many times. And this is automaticity. Automatically. You could perform actions quickly, efficiently, without even being conscious, without thinking. Think about when you're typing. You don't think, right? You just type. Your fingers go. They know where on the keyboard everything is. Maybe you remember when you're driving on the highway, right? You're driving on the highway and you're on a phone call and you're so focused on the call, you don't consciously think, okay, take exit 118, and then you just took the exit. How did you know how to take the exit? Because it's a familiar route. You know exactly where to go. A musician, when they play an instrument, they don't think this key, that key, it's this. They do it so many times that the fingers naturally know where to go. You can't consciously play so quickly. It has to be automatic. This is a known concept. This is how we build habits. This is how we create habits. It's by doing things so many times in a row, in a row, in a row, in a row, in a row. An athlete, they don't think when they swing. It's just a reflex. They know. They've done it so many times that automatically this is what their body does. The brain has an ability to do things without even consciously thinking about the process. So, as an example, muscle memory, right? You do something so many times. And that's why, by the way, halachically, the Rambam writes that if you had to give tzedakah, if you have to give money, instead of giving $100 one time, or whatever you give, instead of giving $100, let's say you give $100,000 a year. So you divide it up, 100, 100, 100, 100. Or you could give $100,000 in one shot to one organization. Which one's better? One nice big check to I'm talking about a nice organization. Even if you give it to an organization and they give it out for you to all the different organizations. The Rambam says it's better to give yourself 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. Because each giving, you're training yourself. You're creating a pattern. You're creating a habit, another muscle memory. That you're training your body to give. That every time you see a poor person, automatically your reflex, your instinct is, here you go. Right? Like sometimes you feel like you wake up. The first thing you do when you wake up is you put your head on the phone, under the pillow to get the phone. Right? That's the first thing you do. Because you do something so many times. Maybe you remember in school learning about Pavlov's dogs. Remember Pavlov's dogs? That every time he would ring a bell, and then he would give them a piece of steak. And he did this 100 times. And then finally, he would ring the bell, and then he noticed the dog started to salivate. Because he heard the bell, and he associated the bell with the steak. He associated with food. So even if I say sour sticks, you could feel your tongue tingling a little bit. You want some sour sticks? Your taste buds automatically know the taste of a sour stick. So many times. We pick things up by how often we do it, how quickly we do it. Practice, 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 practice. And David HaMelech says when he left his house, he just went to shul. And he did it so many times that his feet knew shul. They didn't have to think. They just went there. That's how second nature Torah was for David HaMelech. We don't think when we breathe. We don't think when we blink. They just happen because we do it so frequently. And believe it or not, we can create frequency with our behavior. We can make behavior automatic. That automatically, right? Someone sneezes, bless you. You don't even think. You just say bless you. So our job in life is to create good patterns, that we do things automatically for good. Create a healthy pattern, a healthy behavior, a healthy habit formation, right? This is what David HaMelech was able to achieve. This is the level that he got to. Now sometimes we're born nature or nurture, but we do the wrong things. But believe it or not, it's in our hands to change it. We could create a healthy reflex, healthy attitudes, healthy behavior, healthy motions. We could train ourselves to do the right thing. That even if we get angry, something falls, and our instinct is, right? We turn into an ape. Right? But we could change it. We could change it. It's not easy, but we could change it. So as an example, the Rambam writes that if you have a person who's trying to get rid of a bad habit, the Rambam says, even though usually the middle of the road is the right way, but he says when you're trying to break a bad habit, go to the other extreme for a few days. He doesn't say how many days, but he says go to the other extreme. Right? If you have a bent rod and you want to make it straight, you need to bend it the other way so that it evens out. So if a person's very selfish, the Rambam says go on a streak of just giving. And then you'll train yourself to give. And then you'll balance out, and then you'll go back to the middle. If a person's super always getting angry, then go on a streak of being a doormat. Be a doormat. It's not healthy to be a doormat, but you're trying to balance out. You're trying to be back in the middle. So go to the other extreme for a few days. Now, how many days? The Hasidim suggest, the Hasidic masters, the rabbis, they suggest 40 days. 40 days is how you break a bad habit. 40 is a number, you should know, is a number of growth. 40 is a number of change. 40 is a number of transition. 40 is a number of moving from one stage to the next. So think about all the 40s that you know from our literature. 40 days of Mabul, of flooding. When God was trying to destroy the old world and move on to the new one. 40 days. Moshe was on Har Sinai, 40 days to receive the Torah. The Jews in the desert for 40 years. 40. Because you got to uproot who you are as a slave, you need 40 years. A person, when they go into a mikveh to become clean, mikveh's got to have 40 se'ah. 40 se'ah is the measurement of how much the mikveh has to have. There's 40 lashes that we give somebody. Because if they're rasha and you want to turn them into a tzaddik, they need to go into a 40 to become a tzaddik. 40 lashes. It's not really 40, it's actually 39. But the Torah writes 40. 40 days. From Elul, Rosh Chodesh Elul, till Yom Kippur. You want to become a new person? You need 40 days. 40 days, our rabbis say, for the embryo to develop in the uterus. For the gender to be decided. Except for now, 2024, the gender could be decided even later. Okay. Right? 40 days, 40 is a big number. Even the letter Mem, look at the letter Mem, I'll draw it out for you. The letter Mem, what is interesting about it? It looks like almost a uterus with an opening at the end. It's kind of like the letter Mem is saying this is the number of change, of becoming a new person, of growing, of being born. Right? And that's why we know that if you want to, even the non-Jews, by the way, there's something called Lent. Okay, maybe you're familiar with this. Where they have 40 days before Easter. Right? They got this from the Torah. So the number 40 is a significant number. It's a number of transformation, of growth, of maturity, for a new stage, for when it becomes something new. There's the number 40. And so that's why we find the custom, maybe you've heard, to, if you want something, you say Perek Shirah for 40 days. Or Shirah Shirim, or something, you say for 40 days. That number 40, that's why. Because that's the number that you ingrain in yourself, a pattern, a continuity. The goal is that hopefully, when I'm done, now I will have learned, I would have instilled this pattern in myself. Right? Of saying 40 days in a row. It's not about changing God, it's about changing myself. We want to become a new person in the process. Okay, so that's why maybe they got the number 40 if you're trying to get rid of a bad pattern 40 days in a row. If you're trying to get rid of an addiction, some people have addictions. Smoking, drinking, gambling, shopping. Right? There's many addictions. And if you're trying to break that, you got to go on a 40-day streak. 40 days to break. And then we train our feet to walk to the shul like David HaMelech. Understand? So it's not easy. It doesn't come easily. Right? But growth is not easy. We cannot grow al regel ahat, like the convert came to Hillel. He said, change me on one foot. You can't change life on one foot. That's not how it works. Regel ahat. We got to be every day. We got to grind every single day. We got to do it again and again and again and again and again. And this is what Rabbi Akiva realized when he saw the rock with the drop of water. What was the drop of water going into the rock every day? He saw that if you want to make a hole in a rock, if you want to make change, you can't just pour water on one shot on the rock. It's not going to change the rock. You got to every single day show up, drop a little bit of water on it every day. You want to lose weight, you can't just go on a diet for 3 days. You know, keto, 2 weeks, boom. Okay, how did that work out for you? How do you look today? You're not going to lose weight like that. You're going to lose weight, but it's not going to stick. You got no easy way to. It's just every day. You want to build muscle? You can't just do push-ups 3 days in a row. Go do some sit-ups. Do an insanity workout. You're not going to build muscle like that. You want to build muscle? You got to go to the gym every single day, or twice a week, whatever the number is. You got to go consistently. Little by little by little by little. That's how we change. So consistency is the key. Every single day. Not once, big, but every day small. Every day small. Create the pattern. And that's what David HaMelech says. Chishavti derachai. I thought I was going to go there. All of a sudden I see my feet took me here. Because David learned the secret of automaticity. Automatic. By itself. Habit formation. Muscle memory. And we could condition ourselves. We could condition our bodies that when something happens, we don't get angry. That our instinct changes. We could do it. It's in our hands. We could train ourselves. It takes practice, but we could train. Okay, so his body would unconsciously direct him towards the study hall. That was David HaMelech. And so through constant repetition in life, actions become automatic. Our habits, we are in charge of them. We are in control. We are in control of ourselves. Okay, so this is the second of 42 interpretations of Behukotay telechu. So again, number one, even when you're on the road, even when you're telechu, Behukotay, you gotta learn. And number two, Behukotay telechu, the Torah should be something that your feet automatically take you to, because you've created in yourself that muscle memory of creating that pattern for good, for growth, for greatness. Okay, my friends, we'll stop over here. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and hopefully we'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.